I'd like to call this meeting the order of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education. Ms. Rochelle, would you be so kind to call roll?
Yes. Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chorla?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, ma'am. And we will get ready to adjourn to closed session where we will hear student matters, employment, employer race relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property, and personnel matters. With that being said, we will adjourn to closed session. Good evening. Today is December 11th, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District to order. Ms. Rochelle, would you be so kind to call roll?
Yes. Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Luong?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chorla?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, ma'am. And we will go with the land acknowledgement before we head into the pledge. Forward.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishinon and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishinon ancestral tribes, the Esto-Notumuse and Nisim-Pewanon to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Amishumne, Consumne, Halapunye, and Mukalumne to the south, along the Great Sacramento River systems since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and the Nishinon, especially all future generations.
All right, thank you. And with that, if you please stand for the pledge. Mr. Noah, would you be so kind as to lead us, sir? You can go to the podium if you like.
For real? I thought you were kidding. I just say begin? I don't know how this works. All right, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. A broadcast statement and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast with replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, and Direct TV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. The Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 2 p.m. today to the board have been read, and per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter in any two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. With that, we'll go to item D, Secondary School Spotlight, Folsom High School.
Good evening. I'm the co-director of student media at Folsom High School, Lulu Frieders.
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm also the co-director.
At Folsom High, our guiding principles define and inspire student achievement. Our students pursue excellence and distinction in many areas of academics and athletics. So let's recap all of their recent exciting achievements.
To start, our first guiding principle is to celebrate the success of others. In sports, we've seen this immense success in our varsity football program, who our section and regional championships for the 5th year in a row, and they're currently on their way to state right now. Our varsity boys cross country team and our varsity girls volleyball team also both qualified for state playoffs, and our cheer team was the USA Regional Division winner. For tennis, the girls tennis team advanced to playoffs with their number 2 on the team, singles player Jaden Hill, also making it to the individual singles tournament.
Another important guiding principle is representing our school positively. Our music program students have been very active in prestigious competitions and workshops, showing the Central Valley that Folsom has talent and passion. We saw this in action at our home stadium, where the Folsom Band program hosted the 22nd annual marching band competition and performed an exciting new field show. Chamber choir singer Sophie Nebeker also represented the Bulldogs at the Regional Honor Choir as a soprano. Last night, the chamber choir put on their winter choral concerts with AP artists as well.
Folsom students have been creating community and fostering meaningful connection. On Halloween, a charter of the California Scholarship Federation hosted a trunk-or-treat family event at Sandra Gallardo Elementary School. For our student government, also organized a school-wide haunted house experience to bring students together for a spooky celebration.
Next, the science program here at Folsom High has been looking to lead in important, unique research projects. AP Physics has been testing flying pigs and miniature smart cars. AP Psychology has been experimenting with students' sensory perception. Chemistry has been concocting fun slime and ice cream projects. AP Statistics has been developing equations for a Barbie bungee project, and more. In the arts, our fall musical actors and actresses have been looking to lead on stage. Their production of Descendants the Musical includes the first ever student set director, the first student dance captain, and new student choreographers. This exciting and lively musical sends the message that everyone deserves a second chance, and inclusivity can change the world. And of course, students always value giving grace and being tolerant and kind towards others. Like always, it's a great day to be a Bulldog. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Not so fast. I have to do this. Come on up, we're gonna take a picture.
You'll be good.
Great job. We're on our own.
Oh, no, hey, no worries. All right. All right, we'll get into reporting out of closed session. Superintendent?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. And now we will head into item 6, and I'm so excited. At this point in time, I will step down as president and hand over the gavel to our Madam Vice President, Carol Lofthouse, where she will continue with our meeting. You are, ma'am. Oh, yeah, I am supposed to read something, huh? To make it official. Let's make it official. All right. I was just too excited here. Election for officer for 2026. President will explain as this is the organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees. The board must elect its officers for the upcoming year. As customary, I will be handing the gavel over to the vice president to run a section of the position of president. After an incoming president is selected, the incoming president will oversee the selection of the vice president and clerk. I here now pass my gavel over to the vice president.
All right. Each board member will receive a paper ballot. On the ballot, they will write their name and check a box next to the individual they wish to elect. The successful candidate must receive at least 3 votes. In the event of a failed vote, a new round of paper ballots will be issued to vote for the top 2 vote getters. Ballots will be passed to the superintendent. Superintendent will then read the name of each individual who cast the vote and who they cast it for, to include a tallied casting of votes to be displayed on the screen for each position: president, vice president, clerk, and representative to the Sacramento County Office of Education Reorganization Committee. Student board members will also have an opportunity to vote. However, their votes are advisory and do not go towards the total vote counts. I will now accept the votes for position of president. Board members, please fill out your ballot for president. Once your ballot is complete, please pass down to Superintendent Swanson.
Madam Vice President, point of order.
Yes.
Please delete my name off the ballot for board president, just for the record. Thank you, ma'am.
For that much, you can cross off my name too.
Mine too.
Superintendent, please report out the vote.
All right. For the position of president, David Reed votes for Jennifer Larrett. Chris Clark votes for Kara Lofthouse. Kara Lofthouse votes for Kara Lofthouse. Jennifer Larrett votes for Jennifer Larrett. YK Chalam-Churla votes for Jennifer Larrett. Addie Luong, as an advisory vote, votes for Kara Lofthouse. Evelyn Lopez-Papraka, as an advisory vote, votes for Jennifer Larrett. Our next president is Trustee or Madam President Jennifer Larrett. Congratulations.
All right, Superintendent, if you could pass down the ballots for Vice President. I will now accept the votes for the position of Vice President. Board members, please fill out your ballot for Vice President. Once your ballot is completed, please pass to Superintendent Swanson.
Madam President, point of order.
Yes.
Please remove my name off the ballot for vice president.
Same for myself.
Okay, for vice president, David Reed votes for YK Chalamchurla. Jennifer Larrett votes for YK Chalamchurla. Chris Clark votes for Kara Lofthouse. Kara Lofthouse votes for Kara Lofthouse. YK Chalamchurla votes for YK Chalamchurla. And with an advisory vote, Evelyn Petracca votes for Kara Lofthouse, and Addie Luong votes for Kara Lofthouse. So congratulations to YK Chalamchurla as our next vice president.
Okay, Superintendent, if you could pass down the ballots for clerk.
Madam President, point of order.
Yes.
Please remove my name for consideration for board clerk.
Thank you.
All right, for the board clerk, Chris Clark or Trustee Clark votes for Kara Lofthouse. David Reed votes for David Reed. Kara Lofthouse votes for Kara Lofthouse. Jennifer Larrett votes for David Reed. YK Chalamchurla votes for David Reed. Addie Luong with an advisory vote votes for David Reed, and Evelyn Petracca with an advisory vote votes for David Reed. So our new clerk is David Reed. Congratulations. And I will make a statement. I did the same thing last year. 3 years in a row, our clerk has had a senior in one of our schools. And so as the clerk, Trustee Reed's signature will end up on all of our diplomas, but including his youngest son, his Trustee Reed's signature will be on his son's diploma. So congratulations. That's great.
All right, so we will now pass down the ballots for the SCOE Board Representative.
All right, for the vote for the representative to the Sacramento County Office of Education Reorganization Committee, David Reed votes for Kara Lofthouse. YK Chalamchurla votes for Kara Lofthouse. Jennifer Larrett votes for Kara Lofthouse. Chris Clark votes for Chris Clark. Kara Lofthouse votes for Chris Clark. And Addie Luong with an advisory vote votes for Kara Lofthouse. and Eveline Lopez Petraca votes with an advisory vote for Kara Lofthouse. So congratulations, Trustee Lofthouse, to be our SCOE reorg committee member. Okay, now, this is the hard part. You're gonna switch seats, but keep your chairs slide your chairs because they're adjusted to your height. That's been a request by a particular trustee whose legs don't hit the floor if she gets in the wrong chair. Slide your chairs, find your new seats. Yeah. Good day, sir. Take care. It's been real. It's been a good year being your neighbor. Your brothers.
You want to change? You're okay with this? Should be okay. You're okay. You go that side or this side?
I don't care. I guess that's, all right.
Yeah. Just take out your mic.
Get the binder. Thanks. Okay, we'll move on to item B, appoints superintendent as secretary of the board.
I'll move.
A second?
Motion by trustee Lofthouse, second by trustee Chalem-Chella. Ms. Rochelle?
Ooh. We had.
Sure. We're just reorganizing the vote, but we'll figure this out. And you're voting for me for secretary. All right. Are we ready? Ms. Lopez Petraca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
I vote for you.
No, I work for you. We work for the kids. Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Awesome. Motion carries 5-0. Happy to be your secretary. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to item C, approve July 26, 27 through June 2027 calendar for the regular and special board meetings. And the Board of Education approved the July 2026 to June 2027 calendar for regular and special board meetings as submitted. Entertain a motion.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
Second?
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petraca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse? Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And moving on to item D, approve trustee volunteers for committees. The Board of Education approved trustee volunteers for committees. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by
I'll
Mr.
second.
Chalem-Chella. Second by Ms. Addy.
Ms. Lopez Petraca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Clark? Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 7, adoption of agenda.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
moved by second by Mr. Clark.
Ms. Lopez Petraca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll move on to item 8, agenda consent. We do have one item that we need to pull.
Madam President, I'll pull item G.
like item G, and this would be where the students abstain.
I'll move we approve the consent agenda with the exception of item G.
Moved by Mr. Reed,
I second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chorla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving to item G, approve expulsion recommendation, case number 2526-5S.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Reed.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Abstain.
Ms. Luong?
Abstain.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chorla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item 9, special presentations. We have our Hometown Hero Award, so we would like to invite our hometown heroes up. So last week, we were invited to the Holiday Star in Rancho Cordova, and we heard about amazing students that have been doing amazing things in our schools, and it was such a wonderful morning. But there was one student that, when we were listening, we were shocked at this amazing student. And then we learned a little bit more about her and her brother, and they're both just amazing. So we wanted to present them with the Hometown Hero Award, but just first wanted to give you a little background on them. Max was first diagnosed with leukemia at just 3 years old. He endured 2 years of treatment and celebrated being cancer-free, only to face a relapse a year later. This time his treatment included a bone marrow transplant. The donor, his sister Avery. Avery bravely stepped up to undergo shots and procedures to give her brother the gift of life. Today, Max is back in school and making progress thanks to the incredible support of his teachers and family, and Avery continues to shine as a loving sister and strong student. On November 1st, they celebrated Max's first rebirthday 1 year post-transplant. I was like crying because it was such an amazing story, and we were just so proud of you, and you're killing it at school. You're a holiday star, and you've given a gift that honestly is irreplaceable. And we just wanted to present you guys with certificates. We have some certificates for you. So we want to present these to you. So we would like to come down, and if you could come up, we want to present these to you, and we'll take a picture with you. And just thank you for all that you do for our community and for being in our schools.
You're right there. And then Dad, and then congratulations.
Amazing. Max, that's for you. Equally amazing. You guys are awesome. My mom donated her kidney, so I'm like very, very conscious about the gift that you gave. So that's amazing, you guys. So you guys are absolutely amazing. All right. I feel like giving those awards are like the best part of the job. So, okay, we will move on to item B, Safety Advisory Committee Strategic Focus Mid-Year Update.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Board. Madam President, congratulations. Superintendent Swanson, thank you very much. This is just a quick update on the Safety Advisory Committee and what we're doing. And this is kind of just designed to build awareness on what we're doing here as a committee. And this committee consists of, members of the public, our students, not as many as I like, staff here from the school district, and also some of our teachers and administrators on campus. Some of the safety, I guess I should probably move on. Some of our safety consists of emotional safety and physical safety. Some of the emotional side, we talk about our WeTip, and I know that's our anonymous reporting system that we have in place. We have mental health services, which include our counselors, school psychologists, school workers, mental health teams. And even within our WeTip, we have a process for requesting mental health assistance, from anonymously. So this way, if we do have students that need that, assistance, not sure how to ask, that WeTip really comes into handy and gets them connected with the services here through the district. Also part of that is our SEL curriculum, social emotional learning. We use the second step, which helps build the emotional regulation and also positive behavior amongst our students. We have the bully prevention and suicide prevention protocols, and this is staff who are trained, to recognize those signs of suicide signals and actually respond to those. We also have some virtual tools online for our wellness resources for our students and our families. Along the physical safety, again, we have the WeTip, but also the regular safety drills that are practiced throughout the district. I have our visitor access control, which is our Raptor, which we use on a daily basis, and this is what we use to make sure that those that are visiting our campus, or one, have checked in, and two, do a small background check when they're coming in to make sure that they're okay to be around our students, or just be in the same presence with our students. So that's kind of important. We provide a great deal of staff training to our staff, campus monitors, our yard duties, and some district safety leadership facilities. Of course, the fencing, we have the cameras, we have the, in our campus security on site, campus monitors and yard duty supervisors. The Safety Advisory Committee, again, consists of our families, our staff, and a couple of board members here for the committee, and also students. And again, I just reiterate every chance I get, that if we can get more students on that committee, that would really be great. We put out information, we lobby, we go to the student groups within the district, always looking for additional. District Safety Committee, our District Safety Committee is made up of folks within the district office here. And this committee is actually designed to kind of take information that we learn and maybe put forth some recommendations, prevent threats, and reduce risk, within the district, and kind of stay prepared for, what might come. We also have a Safety and Security Regional Collaborative, and this is where we collaborate with our regional partners. I think it's about 11 of the 13 school districts in the region, where we, talk about some of the commonalities we have, some of the different things we're seeing, and, share resources and also training as well. Some of our safety training that we've completed this year with our staff includes the internet safety. We did this last year with our sixth graders, all the sixth graders in the district, where we brought in what's called iSmart. This is a program put on by the district attorney's office, and deals with internet safety. We did it in a more of a assembly style. Yeah, thank you. Assembly style at each district. At each school. We're looking at doing more of this this year as well. And in fact, we're using another program with the U.S. Secret Service to do that as well this year. We've also done professional development for our campus monitors. We had an August training, which was mandatory. I think we had about 120 plus staff members there. We offered additional training in October. We had about, not as many as we had liked, even about 40 staff at that training. We do also the threat assessment training. We did that with California Intelligence Center, and provided strategic recognize, prevent school violence. And also, this was an outside vendor. We also covered key terminology, intervention skills for identifying threats, and mitigating, planning, and multidisciplinary team assessments. This year, we also introduced metal detector wands. We've always had in our policies about using metal detectors. We actually introduced the wands, and we went out and did training for our staff members on, the proper use of the wand, so that if it becomes necessary that we had to use these wands, and we've been properly trained. The next is alcohol ATOD prevention.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, so the ATOD work, we have been working really, that was our big project last year with the Safety Advisory Committee. And Carrie Kay, the Director of Health Services, and I are kind of spearheading this work. This has morphed into, at the end of last school year, an ATOD committee. We saw this was so important, it needed to be a standalone. We've met 5 times since. We have 4 more meetings scheduled for this year. Some of the areas that we have, we brought in DITEP, which is, we had 15 of our, mainly APs, a couple nurses. This is a 2 full-day training, really how to identify, to see if students are using and processes. So we're excited to get that, it was last month. Actually, it was 10/13, 10/14. And then we've brought in, this is one of the big things, student contracts. So now when students have made a bad decision, that contract right there will discuss some of the steps that we can provide to help, but also be very clear what happens if they make another bad decision again. We're really proud of the work too. We have a clear system, the clearest we've had since I've been here, for first, second, third offense, whether that's tobacco or any other drug. And we've done training too for our campus monitors, some of our yard supervisors, and a number of other support staff, really in ATOD. We also have an ATOD action plan template, and you're probably going, what is that? That is something where, again, we're trying to have calibration at all of our schools, and we're launching this in January. This is where we want to make sure every administrator on that campus and everyone who's part of that ATOD prevention, and if they're providing services, that they have a system at that school. And it very much says how that's going to work at school A and school B and school C, because although we want to calibrate our practices, every school has different resources and different procedures when it comes to this. So excited about that. Speaking of excitement, we have Ms. Backaby, who's joined us, our new TUPE as program specialist with a brand new job description. She's hit the ground running. We've also added our prevention, intervention, and wellness specialist roles and expanded our certified alcohol and drug counselor to 2 full days. And she's really working with our high schools and really working with kids who are addicted. In January, we have our K-9 scheduled. And then some of the upcoming work that we're doing right now. Emergency communication guidebook. We realize, with some of the recent incidents this year, and we could go back to last year and the year before, communication is everything, and it's always evolving. So we're working really closely with Angela and her department to make sure that we have crystal clear communication, not only from the board, but the district, at the site, and that we're using all avenues. The world's constantly changing, so we want to make sure that this guidebook is a live document. Fence installation, our goal, lofty, goal by the end of the summer is to have all of our schools fenced. And that I know has been something that our families have been very loud about, and some of our board members too. So our e-bike and e-scooter safety will be another focus of this committee. We I've been doing this for a while. We've never gone a year without multiple serious accidents. They have become very much an issue. And they also, most of these e-bikes and e-scooters are illegal unless you're 16 or older with a license. So FPD has really taken the lead with this on this educative piece and working with our middle schools. Also, Rancho PD, they also are working on this. So we've been meeting quarterly with these groups, and we're meeting again to talk about how we can do really a systemic approach where we're not just writing tickets, we're educating the students, we're educating families why we're doing this, and then we have been giving warnings, and there actually has been some citations. The vape sensors, great news. I think last year when we talked, we had piloted those at Cordova High School and also Folsom High School. And we're adding 20 of those. We're keeping you busy, Craig. We're 20 of those throughout all of our high schools, and we're piloting that at one middle school this year. So that'll be over break. Super excited. That's going to be the feedback from the schools at first was a little bit, how are we going to do this? Afterwards, they all wanted to have this technology to help them. Mr. Martin mentioned the 5th grade internet safety education. We are now going with the Secret Service. We're evolving too. We want to make sure that what we're doing is lively and up to date. We piloted that at Peter J. Shields and it was phenomenal. So we are going to work with every single 5th grader in our district with that. And we're also working with SROs to do a 6th grade version where Mr. Martin, myself, and our community safety specialist will work alongside our law enforcement partners. We are always trying to grow, and our systems and our tools need to grow as well. So we are exploring new emergency management systems. We're currently using Catapult. We've been looked through 4 different programs pretty extensively, and that's that district safety team that we mentioned earlier. I can't be up here talking about safety without highlighting the awesome work that our school resource officers and our partnership with SRO De La Pena, Ball, Romo, and McCullough. And they've attended our safety advisory committees. They're continuing to build those relationships, those connections with students, always working on being approachable. I've been really impressed by how much they've been really focusing on the educational piece. They've trained staff, whether it's gang awareness. They've worked with our families. I mentioned earlier the e-bikes and the safety with just bikes and the scooters. And they have also already been doing work with online safety. It's just some of the things they've done this year. Helmet handouts, the part of the jogathon. I mentioned the gang awareness training, working with one of our high schools on video productions. They even brought little Zoe, our K-9, who's been with us for, 8 years, a long time, maybe longer. They did a birthday party for a student at Russell Ranch. They've attended multiple club rushes to promote the Explorer program. And yeah, they celebrated National Donut Day at some of our schools too. So there's that. And I also want to thank this board because 3 years ago, our Safety Advisory Committee really had spent the year talking about SROs and is this the best move for the amount of money we're spending. And we came back, we did reduce from 6 SROs to 4. However, we added the coordinator of safe schools and we added eventually 2 community safety specialist positions. And I'm just couldn't be more proud of the work they're doing. Over 200 student check-ins right now have happened this year. And we document everything. Not a week, I would say not 2 days go by without a home visit, whether it's a welfare check, attendance check-ins. They're working with the schools, helping to de-escalate. They're constantly providing training, whether formally or informally. One of the big pieces they're doing, they facilitate all the reentry. So if a student goes to an alt-ed school and then they come back to any gen ed school, which we've done 65 in the last 6 months going. So they are part of that reentry process. And they also are helping with the suspension reentries, which we're doing for all students who are suspended. So they're helping with not all, but some of those. I think you could tell we're super proud of the work our team and really the schools have done to grow our safety. And we get it. It's an ever growing concern, and the concerns are always changing. But I just want to thank the board for giving us the opportunity to come here and speak and just let you know a little bit about what we've been working on. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Comments?
Madam President?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a question. The WE-TIP, can the WE-TIP, it's the anonymous reporting line, but can it be basically used for any anonymous reporting of any nature within the district by parents, kids, teachers, staff? It can be really used for anything, correct?
Correct. It's used for that, and that's how it's being used currently. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't take a break. For crimes, for bullying, for mental health support, for anything that someone thinks is inappropriate. We get the tips on and we respond to those.
Is that monitored 24/7 or during the school hours, or how does that work?
I wish I could say it's only during school hours, but I get the call at 4:00 a.m. The we tips at 4 a.m. And we get up and respond to those.
If he doesn't answer, then it goes to me and I have to answer. And if I don't answer, it goes to Jim Huber and then he has to answer, so.
Got it.
But there's also a dispatch center that if the tip is of a urgent nature, they will actually call me as well. Call us on the phone and give us the information, and that's when we respond.
Okay. There was a parent a couple of months ago was looking for anonymous reporting, and I thought that was something that they could use, and I directed them to that. But as I was trying to identify where it was on the website to tell them, I admittedly struggled a little bit trying to find it. Is there a possibility that we could move it to the front page so it's more obvious? Or is it on the front page?
Yeah,
I guess I'm missing
It's on the front page. It's on the front page of each, not just the district website, but also each school website as well.
Same spot on every.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll have someone point that out to me. The other question I had to do with the metal detecting wands. I didn't realize we had that technology. Is that new, or have we had it for a while?
I think we've had it for a while, but it was not used, and we only had a couple in the throughout the districts. And it's the same thing as you would go to like maybe a stadium, where you walk through and they hand wand you, and it's kind of prevents the staff from putting physical hands on someone, or maybe getting inappropriate places. We don't want to get into that field. So the wand actually does a good job of doing those cursory searches.
Is it deployed just at our secondary schools, or is that right?
Right now, it's just at our secondary schools.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you in terms of our SROs. I've seen a huge, I'm going to say improvement in terms of resources on our campus and being like a positive presence. And so I just want to say thank you, because it's been something that I personally have really pushed towards. I want them to be present and involved, and I've seen a huge increase in that on my visits at football games, anywhere that I've seen them. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass that on.
I have a question really quick. I actually haven't seen any of your guys' flyers for your meetings and stuff like that. Do you know where I can find more information so I could share it with students?
Yes, we do have them on our website. They're also on the, I know Mr. Maroon has them for the ASB.
Yeah, for Student Advisory Board.
Yes.
I think he's shared it before.
Yes, but if you don't, we'll make sure you definitely get a copy.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I have two comments, maybe page number 4, DT. I really want to be a helping hand, if you don't mind. Page number 4, ma'am, about the campus monitors and yard supervisors training part. Yep. August, awesome, thank you. I know we were talking internally also. I want to make sure I can work with my colleagues here. What will it take to get one more mandatory training for those? I know when DT was speaking, I was also nodding my head on the October, not much participation. We don't want some bullet there for the sake of bullet, but we want the people participation. I know I briefly talked with the Superintendent Swanson, but we'll talk with the safety committee first. We have to propose something more mandatory for refresher training for them because they are boots on the ground.
Right.
For all 35 schools. I want to help on that. And the second one, you're mentioning about the students' participation. We're all agreeing here we need. So good part is Vista started e-bike and safety club. They invited me and the Folsom Traffic Safety Committee chairman, I think a month ago. They are very excited to join you guys. I just want to give you that hope.
Good, good, yeah.
I hope. I know we have a next week meeting, but next week they're finals. So, but they said they will meet you and I will introduce that because absolutely, again, this is also their boots on the ground. They are the kids.
Correct.
They should be the one feeding in. And hopefully I can do, I was heavily supporting that club, just so you guys know. You know my passion on the safety.
Yes.
And probably I'll be driving the same club to Vista, from Vista to Folsom High and Cordova by talking to the Club Rush people because you need their support.
Correct. Yes, we do.
So I just want to make those comments. Thank you again for everything you guys are doing. I'm part of your committee, so I'm proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I think this committee has come a really long way in the last 3 years. I mean, I think we were really a single subject focused 3 years ago. And it's just been really cool to see the scope of what safety really entails. And I think we're really digging down into some of beyond just the SRO conversation into other safety issues. And just want to commend you for your work of taking up, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces to this, just so many different aspects of safety. So just appreciate you guys taking that on and really digging into it. And I mean, when we look at the presentations, really the scope of the expertise that you guys are bringing in for the trainings and different things like that, it's pretty significant. So yeah, and I agree on that October training. I think it's unfortunate because I know you guys had a stellar team that was there for the training and things like that. So I know the ones who went got a lot out of it, but if we could just see what we can do by getting more. So anybody else? Thank you. Okay, we will move on to item 10, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes, we'll have Yolanda Ratterman, followed by Matthew Brown.
Welcome.
Good evening, President Larrett, trustees, and Superintendent Swanson. My name is Yolanda Ratterman, and I'm a Folsom Hills parent and a member of the District Advisory Committee. Tonight, I want to speak specifically to the governance process around the decision to discontinue FLES at Folsom Hills, particularly its alignment with the school plan for student achievement. FLES is explicitly included in the board-approved Folsom Hills SPSA under Goal 5, Strategy 5.2, under Education Code Section 64001 and the California Department of Education's SPSA guidance, material changes to a board-approved SPSA that affect academic programs such as eliminating a program written into the plan, must be developed and approved through the school site council and then brought back to the board for review and approval. That step has not occurred. Because of that, on December 6th, I submitted Public Records Act requests seeking the written analysis used to evaluate this decision, including how the change was aligned with the SPSA you approved, how it was aligned with LCAP goals, any documented equity impacts, and any parent consultation requirements under Title V. Until those materials are provided, there is no public record showing how this decision was evaluated against the SPSA or the district's adopted goals. As the board reviews the first interim budget tonight, I respectfully ask the board to take one specific action. Treat any budget or staffing assumptions related to discontinuing FLES as provisional until the board has received the documentation required to evaluate a material SPSA change. This is not about taking a position on the program tonight. It's just about ensuring that the SPSA you approved is honored. Material changes follow the required public process, and assumptions embedded into the budget reflect decisions that have been properly noticed, documented, and brought back to this board. Thank you for your time and for safeguarding the integrity of the SPSA approval process as required under board policy and state law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Followed by Elvia Vasquez.
Hi again, trustees, Madam President. Matthew Brown, I'm here again to speak on the preliminary decision to discontinue the FLES program. It's interesting and it's increasingly troubling that despite the concerns that we raised as a community last meeting, the topic is absent from tonight's agenda. The more pieces I'm putting together on how we got here, the more it seems like there's a broader issue here. And it's an issue that's becoming amplified the longer it's taking the district to publicly acknowledge or provide substantive updates on the matter. And the issue is this: decisions like this reasonably warrant public process, advanced transparency, and demonstrated justification. And my concern's growing that none of those elements were present here. And given the opportunity to course correct that, we still haven't course corrected it. Candidly, the lack of response and engagement here is starting to undermine your credibility, and it's raising broader questions about oversight and decision-making norms. What's especially troubling is that this action appears to have occurred outside of public view, despite the fact that the district serves a highly engaged and collaborative parent community that routinely supports problem solving. I think we're in a fortunate position here in Folsom, Cordova, that it's not a district that requires unilateral action in place of public participation. In fact, I think it's a part of the mission statement that we encourage community collaboration. We benefit from a deeply invested and a highly capable, solution-oriented parent community, and the district does not need to operate as though it's acting alone or on behalf of an uninvolved public. We as the parents expect to be informed and included and respected in decisions that directly affect our children. So to distill down the request that I made last time, please pause the sunsetting. And please be transparent about the real issues so that we can solve them together. We're here with you on this. We're here to work through this together, so please work with us. But for the sake of clarity, as elected officials, your core duties do include transparency, accountability, and meaningful public engagement. So now that we've brought this to your attention at the last meeting, please give us an update about what has been discussed since then. And please tell us how you're working with the district to represent your constituents.
20 seconds remaining.
Unless and until we hear the updates from you respectfully, it seems like your core duties are being bypassed. And at the end of the day, let's use this as a moment to strengthen the partnership between the board and the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elvia Vasquez, followed by Yvetta Franklin.
Good evening, board members. My name is Elvia Vasquez. I'm a community organizer with Sacramento Congregations Together. And also I'm a mother. I have a son that goes to the school district of Sacramento. We, as a Sacramento Act, we also part of the network statewide, which is Pico, California. We are also part of the initiative for community schools with the partnership, the California Partnership for the Future of Learning. And today I'm here just to thank you so much for the support for the free ride program that you have been invested. And we also want to ask you please to continue to do so. One of the benefits that this program offers or benefits, like my son, he actually volunteers here in the California Native Plant Force Society plant, I'm sorry, the California Native Plant Society. He has the passion for native plants like big. He's only 17, but he goes places. He wants to restore California. He's very passionate, but thanks to the free ride program, that's how he can volunteer, because I work at times very crazy schedule. Also, the students from Folsom, Cordova, also, when they use this program, they can get on time to school. They have access to after-school programs. Students can join clubs, sports, volunteer for opportunities like my son. It helps them to build the skills for confidence. And also, families, when they don't have a car, they can also use these services and participate not just around their community, but far from that. Support also academic growth, which is regular attendance to participation enrichment to programs, improve students' outcome. And it's also a strong community because engaged students make our district more active, connected, and thriving. When this program started, which is 2021, mainly in Sacramento, it was about 600,000 trips a year. Last year was 4.1 million trips a year, and this year's been 4.7 million trips a year. This shows how many students uses the program every day, and the program of transportation help to learn, grow, and explore opportunities. And please, I respectfully ask you to please continue the funding for the Ride-Free RT program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yvette Franklin?
Yeah, well, good evening, everyone. I have to say that I'm just so impressed with how professional, how quiet, and how quickly you move through everything. So let me just briefly say what I want to say. I am Yvette Franklin. I'm a retired educator. I'm not from Sacramento. I'm new here. I am actually from the Bay Area, but I'm a reading comprehension tutor. I'm a published children's author. I'm a mother of a college graduate who graduated with honors. I'm proud to say that. And I'm also the first lady of Grace Missionary Baptist Church, which is right here in Rancho Cordova. My husband is the pastor. I stand before you first to say thank you that you continue to keep this Rider program going. I really appreciate that. Even though I don't have any children that are here in school, but I still care for children. Yeah, I care, and it's so important. So I'm just going to read what I have. The program has been a wonderful gift and an asset for the students here. How can you not keep it going? The importance of the program. The Ride-Free program removes transportation barriers for students, particularly those from low-income backgrounds and underdeserved neighborhoods. Yeah, I won't go any further. Okay. Free transportation improves school attendance, engagement, and academic results. The Ride-Free program ensures students can focus on learning instead of wondering how I'm going to get here, how I'm going to get there. Some work. Some go to school, from school, into different after-school programs, and they need the transportation. Continuation of the program demonstrates our commitment to educational equity and the success of all students. Today's youth will one day run this country. One day they will run this country. By financially supporting the Ride-Free program, we are not just helping students access educational opportunities now, but we are also investing in leaders, in innovators, and in the new citizens who's going to make decisions for us older people. Ensuring that every child can attend school and participate fully strengthens our entire society. I mean that. I mean that from the city of my soul. The benefits of supporting our youth extends far beyond just school years. They will shape the future of this nation. Okay, so I'm going to conclude by saying the Ride-Free program is more than just a transportation service. It's a lifeline for our students and families, and it's an investment in our community's future. I strongly urge you to please keep it going. Please keep supporting it. Please remember the children. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is the end of our public comments.
Okay, we'll move on to item 11, reports of district organizations, and we'll start with the Student Advisory Board.
Hello, board. So today, December 11th, me and Addie had our SAB meeting at Folsom Middle School, where we received a very amazing tour. I was very surprised about how beautiful the school is and how big. We had an amazing turnout. We had about 65 members show up, if not more, even though finals and midterms week is next week, so we were expecting not to see many of them. We had visits from Board Trustee Lofthouse and Superintendent Mr. Swanson, so thank you for showing up. And we noticed the kids were very happy. So, and then we had ambassador updates and a special presentation from one of our SAB members. And that's all I have.
Yeah, just to build on the special presentation, one of the main themes of this meeting, I think, was just to highlight student voice, and we emphasized with all of our members the importance of student initiatives. And so on our SAB Google Classroom, we have a topic, like a tab on there that is dedicated just for highlighting student initiatives, and on there we'll post flyers about any sort of campaign that they're working on or any program that they want to highlight. And it's just a place for students to just share what they're passionate about. And actually this past SAB meeting, this same time last year was the first time that I actually attended an SAB meeting and spoke about my climate advocacy campaign. So it was really important for me to come back and kind of highlight it at this SAB meeting. So it was a really full circle for me. And we had a student present about the importance of ableist language and avoiding speaking about students in a certain way and kind of improving connectedness between able-bodied students and special needs students. So that was a very cool presentation. And then, I was also very impressed by the tour and how Folsom Middle School was just so welcoming. We had a little presentation by Dr. Daniels, and then we also had the Folsom Middle PTO brought holiday cookies and candy canes for all the kids to have. So it was a very fun last SAB meeting of the school year, of this semester, I mean.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to California School Employees Association, CSEA.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Swanson. Our chapter will be meeting next Wednesday, the 17th. On the agenda will be MOUs 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, all up for ratification. That's all I have.
When we began 2.5 years ago, our goal was to create a new system that develops a culture where professional growth is supported and innovation is encouraged. Our process uses multiple brief observations of classrooms, followed by conversations that provide context and coaching before documentation, referred to as the 10-10-10 process. We recently completed a survey of piloting schools. Both certificated staff and administrators are asked to rank several statements on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being strongly agree. I want to share one with you. Observations were completed without judgment, and follow-up was completed with curiosity and a coaching mindset. That was 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. When we disaggregated the data, our administrator average response was 4.4, and our certificated average was 4.6. A comment from one of the administrators from that survey: the process is working really well. It has been very beneficial to get into classrooms more regularly, and I really appreciate the coaching that is happening shortly after the observation. It has given me great insight into what is happening in classrooms day to day. My partnership with my teachers has been strengthened by this process. The evaluation committee is encouraged by the results to date, and we look forward to expanding our pilot next year. This process has moved slow to move fast and has demonstrated that what we can achieve to improve student achievement and support teachers when the district and certificated staff work as a team. On behalf of FCEA, Jeanette and I want to wish everyone a wonderful winter break and happy holiday season.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening, President Lorette, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson. Tonight we'd like to share just a brief summary of the first half of our school year. Most recently, at the start of the year, we surveyed our district leaders. One of the most popular requests was for information about retirement. So on December 1st, FCLA hosted a session dedicated to that topic. We invited former colleagues to share their insights and experiences of their twilight, as they said. And a special thank you to Janine Warren and from Benefits to her contributions for sharing some information. So it made me think I have many years to go. Our focus this year has been building supportive systems with an emphasis on continuous improvement. We've highlighted the outstanding work this year of, you heard Scott Meyer earlier, talk about his progress with attendance and due process and his ATOD. The tremendous progress of our VAPA and performing arts with Mindy Andrews and her team. And we also have leadership development programs led by Kate Hazarian and Jim Huber for aspiring administrators. And also all of our site leaders who have put in a lot of effort to have all of their schools recognized for PBIS this year. We also, thank you, Tracy, we echo the sentiment of the pilot program for the evaluation system. So we appreciate the collaborative effort that we've shared with them. So as we enter this holiday season, we'd like to take the time to reflect on these accomplishments. We look ahead to seek your support in preparing our schools for the 26-27 school year as enrollment grows, but our resources continue to remain limited. May all of you enjoy a joyful and festive holiday season and time well spent with family and friends. So thank you.
Okay, moving on to District English Learner Advisory Committee.
Good evening, Elena Cabrera here, and welcome President Larrett, board members, Superintendent Swanson, my esteemed colleagues. I do have a brief report tonight for DLAC. We met on November 4th, and as a response this year, we have done a half and half, virtual and in person. November 4th happened to be our first virtual meeting for the year. It allows for the flexibility and all of that. So at that time, our topic of conversation was discussion of the federal programs. When you think about that, it would include Title I, Title II, and the parents in that group have advisory role in some of those programs. So there was discussion items that centered around Title I, Title II, very specifically Title III, because they have advisory rights over the dollars and programs. That includes the English learners and immigrant. So there was some good conversation around that and some suggestions and just dialogue, support the programs that we're providing and some ideas on how we can continue to support their students. There was also a review of the educator and paraeducator requirements, which is also part of, so the November meeting is about revisiting our practices and procedures and engaging the parents in that discussion. So that was another topic, was the educator requirements. We then discussed, as a reminder, we have a needs assessment out there that pulls our parents, our staff, and our students, including SAB and others, on needs assessment so that we're in the early stages of planning for the year, looking at budgets and then making a plan for our SIPSAs, our SPSAs. And so at this time of year, there's a needs assessment and promoting that through the parents and encouraging that participation. Last but not least, the parents want to invite you all to our data walks, whether it's at a school data walk. Every school will have their own data walk at a school site council, including the ELAC, and also at our parent summit, which will be held February 7th on Saturday, and that will be one of our parent summits. There will be others, but those are the ones where we're targeting our parents specifically. And that's our report. I'll end with one final thing, which is to date, I wanted you all to know that we're slightly down on our immigrant count, but we are at 1,587 this school year and slightly lower on our EL count of 3,098. 3,098 is a very large high school of students, or an average high school or two high schools, but it's a lot of students that we have, and I'm just wanting to report that information for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move over to board committees. Does anyone have anything to report?
I'll share a summary about David Reed, and I sit on the superintendent's budget advisory committee. And that committee has, I'm just giving a summary for the last several months because this is end of the year. And also next week, we are sitting a day-long meeting. And the goal of that superintendent's budget advisory committee is, it is under the leadership of Superintendent Swanson, under the guidance of Sean Martin, our CFO, and Yolanda, thank you for joining from the public as a parent. Goal is efficiencies, and all our labor partners are sitting at the table. The goal is efficiencies where we can save $1. If the program or whatever it is, it's not working, how can we save $1 on the efficiencies? At the same time, how we can generate our attendance go up so that we can get the more revenue. Either save $1 or get more revenue. That's the goal. I think so many administrators like Angie and all of you came and presented with a very positive, welcoming thing, and they're finding the ways to improve that efficiency and save $1. At the same time, I think Scott left, but he is working hard how his ADA attendance can go up. So that's a summary for the last several months. Next week, it is going to be what? 7 hours meeting, Mr. Swanson? More than 7 hours meeting. So I just want to give that overall summary for the...
Probably about 14 folks, if I think about the room. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So that's in general. And also we have a safety committee meeting next week. That's going to be also another big one as well. Thank you.
I'm trying to remember. I think most of us were all at the CSBA conference, which kind of took over any of our committees that happened last week. So pretty minimal reports. I do know that I did miss a CAC meeting while we were at CSBA. So I think that there might have been some missed due to that, which Mr. Clark did an amazing job as the organizer for. So he put in many, 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 many hours, and it was a very successful conference. So.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, no, the AEC was amazing, well-organized, lots of good information I think that we all were able to bring back, and our student board members also participated in that and enjoyed their sessions as well. So congratulations, Mr. Clark, on a successful conference.
And they still kicked me out.
As I'm glancing at my calendar, I think we had a board meeting right prior to our Thanksgiving holiday break. And right when we came back from the Thanksgiving holiday break, we were at AEC for the entire week. So there actually hasn't been a ton of committee work since. That's why we feel.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, we will move on to item 12, public hearing. Do I gavel out now? Gavel out now? Okay, we're going to gavel out now. And we're going to open the public hearing. Folsom Cordova Unified School District 2025-2026 proposed contract openers with Folsom Cordova Education Association, FCEA, to the Board of Education, December 11th, 2025, Education Services Center. The public hearing will be part of the regular board meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District scheduled for Thursday, December 11th.
We're just in the hearing, so we grab, it's a public comment, right?
Any comments from the board? Any public comments?
No.
Then we will go ahead and we will close this hearing. And we will open up our next public hearing, which is Folsom Cordova Education Association, FCEA 2025-2026 proposed contract openers, December 11th, 2025, Education Services Center. Any comments from the board? Any public comments?
None received.
No comments.
Fantastic. Okay, we will close this public hearing. And we will reopen our meeting. And we will move on to item 13, discussion action. First item is item A, accept Folsom Cordova Unified School District 2025-2026 proposed contract openers of common interest with the Folsom Cordova Education Association. Any comments?
Yeah, I'm happy to say as we do our contract openers, you can see the articles that are opening or proposed for the board's consideration. one of these items is for the district to our bargaining group, FCEA, and then FCEA returning to us as the next item. So, Mr. Byrd, anything else to add? Okay, thank you, sir.
Any public comments?
None received.
Okay,
No comments from my side.
okay, I'll accept a motion then.
I'll move 13A.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Chalem-Terla, seconded by Board Member Reed.
Ms. Lopez Petracca? Aye. Ms. Thuong?
Aye.
Mr. Clark? Aye. Ms. Lofthouse? Aye. Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to item B, accept Folsom Cordova Education Association 2025-2026 proposed contract openers. The Board of Education accept the Folsom Cordova Education Association as presented.
Yep, that's exactly right. This is from FCEA to us.
Fantastic. Any comments?
Nope.
Any public comments?
None received.
Fantastic. I'll accept a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Reed,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Terla.
Ms. Lopez Petracca? Aye. Ms. Thuong?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to item C, approved 2025-2026 first interim financial report, period ending October 31st, 2025 with positive certification.
Yeah, we'll invite Mr. Martin to the lectern. Good to see you, sir.
I know.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Martin is going to talk to us today. It's our mid-year interim financial report. We're expected to do this twice annually. This is our first, and he has a presentation to share with us about our financial situation or
Yes,
position.
good evening, everybody. So we always talk about the fact that first interim is kind of our real first chance to see how the budget is looking for the year. At adopted budget, we're talking about being in May. And so the information of enrollment, attendance, and of course, state funding are all speculated at that point, as well as the information around staffing. So this first slide is always our boilerplate slide that just talks about the information that is used and the assumptions done for first interim. In this particular case, it was data as of October 31st. We do believe that the district is a positive certification, that we can meet our financial obligations for the current year and 2 years out. That take a little bit of adjustments. One of the things you'll note here is a new bullet point that talked about using available unrestricted fund balances. We do have to use, when we look at the ending fund balances on our unrestricted side, we normally will have reserves for several accounts. We did have to use those to be able to meet our 3%, which is not ideal by any means, but it does allow us not to be in a qualified status, at least at first interim. And so, again, you're always approving the actual budget documents. That's the SACS forms, about 160 pages. And this is just a high-level summary, primarily focused on the general fund. Of course, enrollment is the majority of our funding, about 75%. And so we always want to look at updated numbers there. Positive there is that from what we had projected at an adopted budget, we are 111 students up from that number. That's great. That does mean more revenue for us as a district. But also, of course, we have costs that are generated because of those additional students, including staffing and supplies and equipment. Our attendance rate that we're projecting at this point is 95.22. Which is slightly higher than at adopted. So we do see a little bit of additional funding associated with that. And then you see a 95.25 being used for the multi-years out, 25, 26, 27, and 27, 28. So those are kind of the key factors when it comes to our enrollment information. You do see the continued growth year over year that we are projecting. LCFF, so here's our LCFF calculation, and you can see the combined totals on that is about $267 million is the net amount that we'll be receiving based off of the first interim projection. And so that is about $3.5 million more than what we projected at adopted budget, which is great. That additional revenue was beneficial in helping us offset our costs associated with our settlement that we had with our bargaining groups. And we'll talk about that on the next slide with expenditures. So that's primarily the largest single adjustment on the unrestricted side, which is the yellow box at the top, and the middle box is our restricted side. You do see some significant increases to other state income. The single biggest item is that the budget was approved with some one-time money, and our allocation is about $6.4 million, and it's for student support and professional development. Those dollars are going to ultimately be used to help offset, or not offset, but continue to fund some one-time positions that we've been funding with learning recovery funds, which more or less will be exhausted pretty much this year. A little bit will carry over into 26, 27 that we'll be able to use. And so a lot of our special support staff and some of our teacher induction staff are being paid out of those pots. And so we'll be bringing some information to the board about how those funds will be being used over the next couple of years to continue to support some of those services as well. Continuing on, I think in overall, it's a positive to see revenues increase, but of course, correspondingly, we do have expenditures increasing as well. So just talk about some of those. Both on the unrestricted and restricted side, you will see some adjustments to the certificated and classified salaries. We do have a lot of changes from May. One of the biggest ones was a agreed upon settlement with our bargaining partners of 2%. So that's built in there. Also, we did have additional students, as you saw, and program continued growth and needs. And so we do have FTE increases on the certificated side. And then with regards to adjustments, we also have an offset decrease in expenditures for any time we have open positions. So unfilled positions that we have in the district, we go ahead and reduce at first interim about 40% of that cost, because at this point, we can assume about that amount of the position will not be paid out because of the fact that those positions are still open. You do see other adjustments in here for books and supplies, contracted services. I'm going to talk about some of these components because one of the things, and I know YK just spoke to it about our Superintendent Budget Advisory Committee, or SBAC. We have identified $3 million in adjustments for the current year that actually are in the budget at first interim. So those identified reductions or savings are already reflective in this number that you're seeing. But you do see expenditures do increase. You see there both unrestricted and restricted. Restricted expenditures align with using of the one-time funds, the restricted funds that we have as well. So when you bring it all together, what you see here is going from adopted budget to first interim, you do see a decrease in our deficit by about $350,000. We identified about $3 million in savings, but there were other costs that were generated. One of the other things you do see is in the other financing sources line, you do see an increase in the contribution by about $1.5 million. That is reflective of special education and additional supports to support those programs there. So that we do see some increase in costs in special education from adopted budget to first interim as well. So this next slide here is kind of a summary on the unrestricted side, looking at the adopted budget to first interim, the differences that are occurring there, and then kind of some of the main key factors that add up to the majority of those costs. It's not going to line out dollar for dollar, but we wanted to identify some of those things. And so what you see is SBAC line is the first column in the blue side, and you see about $2.7 million, $2.6 million. There was also about $400,000 in savings on the special ed side, and that was so more or less it would have helped with the reduction in the contribution a little bit. And so that's how we came up to the $3 million, because that contribution is unrestricted. So it doesn't reflect in here because we're not including the contribution transfer component, but that's how you get to the $3 million in reductions that were identified. And you can see that those are across the board. Majority of it is on staff and then contracted services. You do see salary changes, so that's associated with, and you can see the details here. We did add from adopted budget 12.4 FTE on the certificated side, 2.3 on the classified side. That's going to be a combination of additional staff associated with the 100+ kids that we had, but also there are components of program needs, either site allocation needs, other activities as well. So And then also in the salary changes are rebenching of positions, variances between what we assumed the budget was going to be for a position versus what we actually filled the position at. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's more if you get a more senior employee. So you have all of those adjustments as well. The other component in the salary changes is the 40% reduction for unfilled positions. So any of our, oh, actually, I'm sorry, that's a separate column over on the right. And you see that's $2 million there. And then the cost of the 2%, that 3.4 million, that is just the unrestricted component. It does not include the costs associated with the restricted programs as well. So, and then as I shared, one of the things that occurred was the contribution to special education increased about 1.5 million. Part of that was because of the 2% settlement. Obviously, there's a lot of positions associated with special education, and so there had to be an additional transfer for that. But then there was also additional program needs when it came to special education that we had to include in the budget as well. So, when you bring it all together, you do see our final ending fund balance here. We have about $60 million there. You do see we meet our 3% economic reserve for the current year. About 11.5 million is what we need for 3%. But what I would note is to get to that 3%, you'll note that there's a little asterisk in the fact that our ending fund balances for all of those accounts, except for supplemental funding, we're assuming that we will have to shave those pieces off a little bit. Now, let's kind of dive into this a little bit in that, remember at first interim, we only reduced open positions by 40%. And that was about a $2 million savings. So we will fill, quite a few of those positions, but figure there is another 60% of savings potentially for the positions that do remain unfilled for the whole year. So that could potentially be $1 million to $2 million there as well, if maybe even a little bit more. So if that does come back into play, then that will lower the deficit. That will correspondingly leave more funds in the ending fund balance, and then we probably will have enough to make our reserve plus keep all of our committed accounts at full balance. Yeah. So I'm not overly concerned about this at adopted or at first interim for this year, but I will tell you that over the next 2 years, and when we look at the multi-year, you will see us deplete all of these reserves that you're seeing here. And so that is an issue that we do have to figure out how to resolve, so we have enough reserves to meet all of our obligations of 3% plus these other commitments that we have in need. So, okay.
Yeah, Sean, while you are going through this presentation, mention where the rainy day fund, I know I'm using the different word. If in this process, is this 3%, 11.4 million is treated as a rainy day?
Yeah, well, really,
emergencies?
I would not consider it a rainy day fund because if you actually go below it, you actually are in qualified status, and then you have to do a bunch of steps to get the money put back in. So, and again, this is not even 2 months worth of payroll or 2 weeks worth of payroll, I should say. And so that's not going to get us very far along if we're having to dive into that pot of money. So that's something we have to keep in mind.
We don't have that kind of bucket as a rainy day.
No, we don't have we don't have really reserve levels. And in fact, I think one of the documents I've shared before is the fact that as a district, we're below the state average for a unified school district when it comes to our reserve levels. And so that is something we have to monitor as well. So means you have limited capacity to take on unannounced expenditures is one way of saying that, right? And so that's something we have to be aware of as well. So thank you. And so multi-year projection, this is always one of the requirements that we have to not only have sufficient reserves for the current year, but we also have to look at 2 years out. On the revenue side, you do see some significant revenues increasing in LCFF. That's a combination of the COLAs and continued growth in enrollment and continued growth in funded ADA. You do see on the state revenues a decrease of about 6.5 million. That is that one-time pot that I was just talking about, that we only get it one time, but then we're going to probably hopefully try to spend it over several years. So that's on the revenue side, which is always good. We like that. And you got to realize a lot of school districts are not getting growth. And so the majority of the dollars that we're seeing there are around the growth, and not very much of it is COLA. So. On the salary side, you do see us having increased costs around our staff costing. That's a combination of putting back the 40% empty positions as well as step and column costs of how our salary schedules work. There is a built-in salary increase for our staff because of the salary schedule. So we're making assumptions there. And then also just to component, because we are showing enrollment growth, we are projecting the additional staff associated with those students. So in this budget is the staffing necessary to support the students that we project. And so we do put that in there. We don't put extra in for supplies or services for those students though, because the estimation on that is a little harder for us to do. And so we leave those flat at that point. But you do see some adjustments of one-time activities coming out in 26, 27, and that's why you see some negatives there for books and supplies. A lot of that is because it's restricted accounts. Remember how we talked about those categorical pots? We budgeted at first interim to spend all of our carryover, well, if you spend all of that in 25, 26, you don't have that for 26, 27 to spend. So that's why those expenditures decrease pretty significantly there.
Sean?
Yes.
A question. So you mentioned that the $3 million that was identified earlier in the year has already been incorporated into the budget numbers. The current work of the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee, any savings that is identified through that process hasn't been incorporated yet into this yet?
No, that has.
It has been incorporated?
Yes, yeah. Everything that has been presented to the Budget Advisory Committee that was a recommendation from staff level, we went ahead and put into the budget for 25, 26. So that $3 million or 2.6 that I had showed you on the previous slide is reflective in here.
So first interim, you have 383,025. The projection for 26, 27, I see it's a little less than, I guess, what, 500?
Yeah, the what you're seeing there is,
less.
yeah, you got to remember the first interim is overinflated with a lot in the supplies and service accounts and capital outlay that are associated with one-time activities that we're doing. And so you see in 26, 27, more or less the staffing side continues to grow. Those other activities go off because of one-time activities. So on this next slide, if I kind of break it out here, look at the unrestricted boxes. That's the one that really matters, right? So that's the blue ones. You do see the deficit decreasing from 13.8 million down to 9.8.
Okay.
But that does not include, that assumes all open positions are filled, but it does not include any kind of negotiated agreement with our bargaining partners or anything else above and beyond an assumption of flat spending year over year with our services and supply accounts. And then you see it drop even some more significantly in 27, 28, right? But that also, again, does not include any kind of negotiation, settlements, any kind of other activities that would have cost increases above and beyond what we're assuming for staffing. So we're going in the right direction that way. And, this has been continued kind of a situation, but we have to recognize there are other drivers that will potentially make that deficit number bigger. But the problem we also have is you can see, we go from $24 million in ending fund balance down to 11.8, and that's more or less what we need to have. We need 11.6 million to meet our 3% reserve. So that's not really where we need to be. We have to be able to get that budget more closer to what the number is now, which is 24, and you can see that's only 6% reserve level, where you're seeing lots of districts that are, and I think the average is somewhere between 18 to 20% for a unified district. And so you can see we're significantly lower than that. So we have to keep that in mind as well. All right. So just continuing on, transition for this one. This is all of our other funds that we have, including our charter school program, adult ed, child development, cafeteria, deferred maintenance, our transportation equipment fund, and then all of our bond funds, developer fee funds, and then our student care program on the end there. So all of those programs, I don't have any significant concerns. We have brought to the board a conversation about our charter program. This is our direct supported charter. This is Folsom Community Charter, Folsom Cordova Community Charter. But I will share that they're up to 161 students as of yesterday. So we are seeing them continue some growth this year, which we're happy about. Ideally, we would like to be around 250 or so to keep that program completely viable. But it's going in the right direction. So we're happy about that because we did have concerns at the beginning of the year. The numbers were pretty low. And we had concerns about the viability of that because we were having to do contributions to make sure they had sufficient funds to make their reserves. So I think we'll have more information at the second interim, but at this point, we're feeling better about that as a model right now. Continuing on, again, just kind of last notes here. We have a positive certification. We're making our 3% reserve. We are working through the Budget Advisory Committee. We're still continuing through that process. And then really the next big timeline for us is in January. We will have the governor's proposal for 26-27. I'm hearing somewhere in the neighborhood of a $14 billion deficit for the state. Bigger than that now? Yeah. So we'll see what that looks like for us. Our big thing is whether or not they will fully fund the COLA, and then is there going to be any kind of one-time pots of money? Because I think that's about all they can really do at this point when it comes to the budget. And of course, because of how Prop 98 works, the guarantee, we normally are kind of protected from some of the deficit, but the state has been eating away at the rainy day funds that have kind of kept us stable. And at some point, being the largest single item in the state budget, it will come a time where they won't be able to fully fund everything we have going on. So then that would just only make the deficit more significant than what we have now, based off of our projections. But we're going in the right direction long-term with the enrollment growth. We just have to get ourselves in a financial situation where we can absorb that until we can get our reserves built back up and get a balanced budget. So, questions? Oh, and here's a timeline for all the different activities we have going on. The data walks are going to be starting up. Ms. Cabrera and her team are going to be busy in January and February for sure. And then, of course, we have all the Superintendent Budget Advisory Committee meetings.
Any questions from the board? Any public comment? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I second.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse, second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item D, adopt resolution number 12-11-25-24 concerning order of seniority of certificated employees first rendering paid probationary service on the same day.
Yeah, essentially what this is, board, is the way seniority works in a school district is around hire date. But because we're a school district that has set starting dates, we have a lot of ties, people starting on the same day. So this is the board agreeing to what our tiebreaker criteria is in the case of layoffs.
Questions from the board?
No, just a comment. This has been reviewed by our partners, labor partners, and all thumbs up. And I want to make sure.
Come off mute.
I did.
Yeah, it's the same system we've been using every single year, just a routine we set up every year. And you'll see in the attachment the criteria and the order that we go in when having to break any ties.
Yeah, thank you.
Any public comment?
None received.
Fantastic. I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll move item D.
I second.
Yes. Moved by Mr. Chalem-Chella and second by Mrs. Petracca.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
We will now recess our regular board meeting and call to order to the Folsom Cordova Financial Corporation Annual Meeting Agenda. Okay, I will call this meeting to order, and if we could do a roll call.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Long?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse? Here. Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
All are present.
Moving on to item 2, approve minutes of December 17th, 2024 Folsom Cordova Schools Financing Corporation meeting.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
A second?
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Wait, sorry, can I ask what this is?
Yeah.
Great question, Ms. Long. I had to ask the same thing last year. I'll cue Mr. Martin to explain what this is.
Yes, so actually, Folsom Cordova Unified School District also has a facility corporation or facilities corp that was created many years ago to support some financing of facilities.
Oh, okay.
And so we don't actually have any outstanding debt left on the facilities corp, but we keep the organization and the structure of it in place so that if we need it in the future, it's available to us. So all the board members are representative members of the facility corp as well.
Okay.
And so that's what you're doing is more or less once a year, we have to have an annual meeting to more or less keep the organizational structure in place.
Is this supposed to be the annual meeting?
This is the annual meeting right here.
Welcome
So
to the annual
You are
meeting.
technically
Oh, cool.
on a different board right now. You're on the
Okay.
Facilities Corp, FCUSD Facilities Corp board, and you are making a motion to more or less keep the organization going by having a meeting. So-
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
You got it.
Okay, aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to item 3, status reports or projects.
Yeah, there are no outstanding projects funded under the Folsom Cordova Schools Financial Corporation at this time.
Then we move on to item 4, corporate officers. The bylaws provide that the officers remain the same as the Board of Education, previously elected during the organizational matters portion of the agenda during the regular Board of Education meeting and annual organizational meeting. That it?
We would just recite what the positions and who holds the positions.
Okay, President Jennifer Larrett, Vice President YK Chalem-Churla, Clerk David Reed, Member Chris Clark, and Member Carol Lofthouse.
Thank you.
And the students.
Oh, and our students, yes. Fantastic. Okay, then moving on to item 5, other business. Seeing none, then we can move on to item 6, which is adjournment of this meeting. Okay, and then we will reconvene our regular board meeting. And we'll move on to item 16, superintendent's report.
Ms. Luong's caught up with how weird that is. I don't have a ton to report tonight. I will just state that there are, as we met the hometown hero, and I think it's not hyperbole to state there are miracles happening in our district all the time. A miracle, I'll call it a miracle, happened today at Williamson, and I wanted to share a little bit about it briefly. So we learned when the adult education spoke that we're hosting satellite English learner classes at our schools. And today at Williamson, the parents were, I don't know if it's like graduating or what it was. They reached a milestone in their language development with their teacher. And of course, the parents that are learning English at Williamson have students at Williamson. And so the students came over with cupcakes made by our high schoolers at Kinney. So this integration and coherence of this miracle is why it's a miracle, is that the students came with cupcakes and balloons and flowers and cards, the students congratulating their parents. I don't know why that's a miracle, but that's a miracle. So we've got pictures about it. It's going to be in the Friday board update, but it was just a really, it's really an amazing celebration of how supportive our district is of each other, of our adults, of our community, of our youngest students, our middle schoolers, and our high schools. So that is all I have to say about that. Other than that, happy holidays, happy new year to our entire school community, to the board, to our union partners, to our classified certificated management staff. It's been a whirlwind first half of the year. Get rest, do the things that you love, and we'll see you back here in January. Thank you.
Moving on to item 17, board member reports. Ms. Eveline?
Yes. So I have a few things for Cordova. Excuse me. Okay. Last Friday we had our Winter Olympics rally, which was very fun. And then today we had our Winter Festival in the Quad, which I missed, but there was activities and I heard fun games and pictures with Santa brought from the North Pole. So that took a lot of emails. Finals week is creeping up on all of us and our last high school winter break for the seniors. So that's very Sad. And then next week, Cordova has the combined band, orchestra, and choir concert on Monday, December 15th at 6:30 at the PAC. So I will be sending out an email so you guys remember. And then some random stuff. December 1st, college apps were due, or most of them. So shout out to the seniors out there. We got this, and good luck to all of you guys. And then the CSBA AAC conference that we attended, which was super duper fun. And we only got to attend for one day, but we still made the best out of it. And I had the opportunity to meet many student board members from across the state of California and created new connections with them as well, which will be useful in the future. And we also had the opportunity to hang out with the California State Board member. And other than that, I just want to take the time to say thank you for being such a kind and welcoming board. And with it being my first year as student board member, it was amazing to see how you guys were very understanding and kind. And thank you for this amazing semester, and I can't wait for the next one. Happy holidays.
Thank you. All right, Miss Addie?
Okay, so my updates for Vista. Well, this past week, Vista's National Honor Society, or NHS, they had a Favors for Fosters drive. So they were out there every morning collecting toys from students as they walked into school. And Vista's cross-country team went to the California State meet over Thanksgiving break, which was really cool. I got to go and represent my school as well. And one of my teammates, Brenna Mannion, she placed sixth in the state in the D2 varsity girls race, which was so impressive. She's been working so hard, so I just wanted to shout out for her. And we also had our first basketball game earlier this week, which was whiteout theme. And we also had a whole spirit week with lots of fun dress-up days. And then next week is obviously finals, so good luck to everyone, not just at Vista, but at all the high schools and even middle schools. Just kind of like going off of what Evelyn said also, thank you for such an amazing first few months here. It's been so eye-opening and very empowering to sit up here on the dais with you all. And I've learned so much from this role, and I felt very fulfilled by my role in public service, and I've definitely deepened my passion for it. I just kind of wanted to recall a short memory really quick. One of my first days coming to the ESC, we had an orientation meeting with Miss Dagnall actually, and she was taking us on a tour around here, and I asked her, what's your favorite part about working here? And she said that it was the people. And I've now seen what she's talking about, and I just want to say I'm very grateful for you all, and thank you for teaching me so much about this role, and I'm really excited to continue learning more. And happy holidays to everyone, and I wish you all a restful Thanksgiving break. Not Thanksgiving, winter break, sorry.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, Ms. Lofthouse?
I don't have much to report. However, I wanted to commend these young ladies today, walking into SAB and having 60 plus middle school, high schoolers completely engaged in their committee work was amazing. I walked in and nobody even lifted their head to see who's in the room. They did pause them and introduce me, but they were all very much invested in their work that they were doing. So that for one. And for two, we had a great discussion led by Mr. Swanson regarding cell phones and hopefully getting more information later from them, but equally engaged in that conversation and really open and honest and not afraid to have that conversation with adults, and sometimes would be kind of scary, and they were very into it. So I want to commend you too. You're obviously doing a fantastic job leading that group. So great job. And that's it. Happy holidays.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, since I didn't have the opportunity once I stepped down, I just wanted to read a statement that I wrote a couple of weeks ago. It has been an honor and privilege to serve as president of this board over the past year amid the demands of transitioning into a new role at Greater Sacramento Urban League, planning our annual education conference, and fulfilling my responsibilities as a director with CSBA. I have remained committed to serving this board and our community with professionalism, composure, and integrity. Throughout my tenure, I've constantly aimed to model decorum, refraining from arguments, sarcastic remarks, or any comments made. Given my leadership role representing FCUSD and CSBA at both the state and national levels, I have always understood the importance of conducting myself in a manner benefiting those responsibilities. I have taken great care to uphold the reputation of this district, to avoid contributing to any form of disruption or drama contrary to what was suggested by one of my colleagues. Despite the challenges, I have truly valued and enjoyed my time in this role. Serving as president has been a meaningful experience, and I'm grateful for the trust that staff, superintendent, and my board has placed in me. I look forward to continuing my service as a dedicated board member and supporting the continued success of our district. And thank you for the opportunity to serve. Now, you guys know me, I will speak my mind on how I feel on certain things. So I'm gonna say, and you've heard this before, I am disappointed, but not surprised. Once again, you as a board has passed over a board member who has experience for the role of president, vice president, and clerk. This is not a sarcastic statement, but me standing up for what's right. With that being said, I am pretty sure I'll expect an email from one of my colleagues saying how appalled they are that I'm making this statement. That concludes my statement. Student board members, thank you for your words and your dedication to this board. Thank you for attending CSBA. I promise, even though I don't really have much voice anymore on that, to try to get you at least 2 days, because I think enjoying that conference and getting out and experiencing the and build relationships with your colleagues throughout the state is very important and very vital. So with that being said, happy holidays, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
I was just gonna say, it won't be 2 days for you guys, but the people who follow you, it'll be 2 days for them, and they'll be in San Diego. So, sorry.
But
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going to
that's
invite you
true.
to speak.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
San Diego.
Thanks for making that clear.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
Well, thank you. Obviously, always a busy time of the year in December. I wish all the students luck and with their final exams. As I guess to quote the superintendent, finish strong. Is that your say? Work hard, finish strong. So I guess that would apply here as well. And then, obviously being the holiday season and of many different traditions, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy New Year. For those who are, I guess, Seinfeld fans, Merry Festivus. So look forward to seeing everyone in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shalom-Cheli?
Awesome. I'll start with President Clark. Thank you for leading us last year. That was my first year, as a board member here, and Kara as well. We supported this both. Thank you for leading 1 year, and congratulations to our new president, Jan Lauret, and David Reed in that new role as a clerk. The community-wise, I know we all know we have gone to CSBA conference. It's a wonderful one down here in Sacramento for 4 days, and we got quite a good information from there. I already passed some of my information to Superintendent Swanson, and there are few districts are doing definitely outstanding job in some areas. We are doing outstanding job in many areas, but those some areas, let's borrow from them rather than reinventing the wheel. That's the mindset. I echo one more time to Superintendent Swanson. 1% better, 1% better every time. That's the slogan we are going to continue for next year. And also, Folsom City welcomed the new police chief. Superintendent Swanson, Angela, some of our colleagues are there. So he is a new partner for us, City of Folsom, from the safety side. That's a good thing. And he understands, and, we will be welcoming him to one of these days for our safety committee meetings to just to greet him. So that's the good part about that. Otherwise, this is a holiday season, I'm a more festive guy, like putting a hat. It is, I celebrate all religions, it's not that I'm not doing anything, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever it is. But this is a holiday moment. That's the thing I want to bring. All the teachers, all my partners and administrators, you guys worked so hard. This is the time to decompress, take a break, spend time with families, and celebrate. Wish you a very happy holiday season. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, nothing really to report on my end, but just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody, to our student board members. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. It's amazing every single time we're in meetings together. You're just very thoughtful and really diligent about wanting to move your board positions forward and leaving really a strong legacy for any board members that are after you. So it'll be always difficult to fill your shoes, I think. So, but good luck to everyone with all their finals. And with that, we move on to item 18, which is advanced planning. We have our next board meeting will be on January 10th. We have a special board meeting, which will be in person, no broadcast. And then our next regular board meeting after that is scheduled for January 15th. And then moving on to item B, we have our 12-month board calendar. And then item C, any suggested future agenda items?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Clerk.
I believe that Mr. Reed at one time wanted to bring back the discussion on personal devices as well as Chromebooks. I'm wondering if that's still on. Oh, it is. I thought, well, actually, did we?
No, Chromebooks are a separate issue.
Okay, so actually we need to put that in just for discussion.
I'd be supportive of that.
Thank you.
For discussion, not information, I want to be clear.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, yes, cell phones are scheduled. Dr. Pitt is going to facilitate us through a conversation on January 15th, our next board meeting. That's not the special board meeting. As it relates to Chromebooks, two things. One, would love to see consensus from the board if we're going to add it. And then what do you want to know? What do you want to learn in a discussion?
If it's a benefit to our students, especially in the high school level, and as well as the secondary as well.
I'd also say elementary.
In elementary.
Can I piggyback on
Absolutely.
things that I would love to
Sure.
see in that? I would love to see an average amount of time spent per day for curriculum and instruction used on Chromebooks in the classroom. And then I'd also love to know if there's additional time required on that online programming outside of the classroom. So at home, is homework assigned also on the digital device?
I'd also like to piggyback on both my colleagues and add an analysis of the benefits versus the risks of using Chromebooks in kindergarten and first grade, I guess TK, kindergarten and first grade, especially for developmental purposes. I'd also like to get an update as to what students have access to on the Chromebooks. I know that we spend resources on preventing access to video games on the Chromebook, but I hear through word that some students are able to either find websites or break the, I think that's the lingo, break the code or whatever to access some game sites. So I'm kind of curious, maybe getting an update from technology on whether that's actually happening or not. Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to add to that as well.
Is this something that you guys would like students to come and like speak in public comment about too? Is this like something like is this a discussion item? First of all, okay. So we can potentially like ask students to come.
Of course you can.
Okay.
One other, I forgot. If we could also examine whether teachers perhaps are more supportive of the pre-pandemic Chromebook policy where the Chromebooks were kept in Chromebook carts and distributed by teachers when there's a need, versus the pandemic policy, which has been in place ever since, which is we issue Chromebooks to every student. So I'd like to see that, and perhaps maybe even if FCA were potentially interested, could they potentially pull their teachers to see what challenges the teachers see or benefits the teachers see with the Chromebooks, so we can get some feedback from the teaching staff as well.
I think I took really good notes. We're gonna have.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I would just say, I don't think that we can expect our staff to do a full analysis of all the research that's available. I think that that's going to partly be on us to also understand that research. So I don't think that I think what we can gather is what's happening within our district, but I don't think we can expect our staff to analyze all the research that experts.
We can pull a little bit, but yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that piece. And then second of all, I think that the one-to-one policy has been in place for a really long, I can't say how long exactly, but at that time prior, and yes, we issued them to younger students after, but there was basically 2 sets of Chromebooks. So there was one in the classroom, and then students still had the one-to-one Chromebook at home typically. So that wasn't a post-pandemic thing, the one-to-one devices. It was just where they used them, I think, and how they accessed them. And then from a curriculum standpoint, I know that many of our publishers are only issuing certain parts of it online. So I would also like to know that in terms of our curriculums that we currently have in our district, and then do they all, I don't remember, I did the adoption in like 2020, and the publishers were moving all towards online. So I would like to know kind of where we sit within the programs, and if they're even available offline.
Okay, I'm just going to repeat back a little bit what I heard. We're going to have to pull some data. We're going to pull a little bit of research, and we're going to have to do some surveying. So we're going to need time. Just kind of getting that out there for you all. Not in any order, just in the way I wrote it down. We're going to have to do some work with our curriculum instruction team around our adopted curriculums. It sounds like TK-12 and I think probably what would be best, the way to present that data is the percentage of the curriculum that requires a Chromebook for execution. There's some data pulls that we need to do on average time per day that the teachers are using it, and the average time needed on the device. There's some research we need to pull on the benefits and risks, and I wrote down TK1, but if we see anything salient beyond that, we'll share. I know that's a passion of yours, Trustee Reed, on TK1. And then some data on access to Chromebooks and the websites, and then potentially a survey, and I only say potentially because it was mentioned partnering with FCEA, but potentially a survey of teachers on any challenges or benefits as it relates to the use of Chromebooks in executing lessons in their daily work.
Yeah, that's a good, I know Mr. Superintendent Swanson, I think I was exchanging email with you, which is very related to Chromebooks. About that PII, personally identifiable information, even though we may have a policy, just resurfacing to everybody.
Yeah,
I think
that helps. We could get that out in a Friday board update, probably not tomorrow, but we have, Director Stone has all that information we can share. He'll get it to you directly, and then we can get it out.
If this is a presentation, giving that to the public.
During the presentation? Okay.
It's for public, you know.
Yep.
Yes, certainly, I'll get this on Friday, but I'm thinking about the 23,000 parents.
Got it.
Thank you.
And then, I'll check in with the team. We debrief tomorrow, and then I'll check